Hi, my name's John Cordy, and the last thing that I want you to do is turn around, so just eyes forward please, and don't worry about what's happening around you. I'm just here, I'm talking to you about this pedal and why I bought this in 2021. So you've probably heard and seen about the STRYMON Big Sky many times in many places, magazines, YouTube, all over the place, on professional boards. I'm always late to an orgy. It's just something that's happened all through my life. I'd get the text and they'd say, quickly come up to dorm room 237, there's an orgy going, and Rhett and Rabia are already there, and they're just doing the thing with the thing, they're fiddling with their knobs, great things are happening. And invariably I would arrive and the knobs have already been fiddled with. Anyway, so the STRYMON Big Sky came out in about 2014, I think. It was a big deal then. Probably not seen too many people doing kind of paid demos of it recently, because it's an older product. But I'm not aware of anything else on the market that does a better job than this. And feel free to leave in the comments kind of ideas for things that other people might want to check out instead of a Big Sky. But I just wanted to talk about the reason that I'm checking out the Big Sky. I think the main thing is that enough time has passed that this has proven itself again and again, and like the Strymon timeline that I bought for similar reasons, big reverbs and stuff like this on the Helix or HX Stomp or on the FM3 end up taking up quite a lot of processing power. And so the idea is that I could put something like this, which has a dry through, so it isn't affecting latency at all. I can put this after an FM3, I can put this after an HX Stomp, and I basically have my own little reverb generating device that works with presets, works with MIDI, can do all sorts of crazy things, even has kind of solo boosts built in, has pitch generators and all that sort of stuff that on any modeling device does take up quite a lot of DSP. I've sort of outsourced that job to the Big Sky or to the Strymon timeline, and if gigs were ever a thing again, this would be something that I could use with my HX Stomp, and I could set up MIDI presets or whatever. Although it's not cheap compared to having 2 or 3 reverb pedals that could do the same kind of job, or I don't know what the competitors cost, Nunabur potentially are expensive, Eventide are potentially expensive, Walrus Audio are potentially expensive as well, and I think this can just do an awful lot for the money. So I bought this one second hand for £300, which I think is a pretty reasonable deal actually. New, I think they're in excess of £400, but again, if you compare this to something like maybe a shimmer reverb pedal and a spring reverb, potentially you'd end up paying similar kinds of money for 2 or 3 pedals. This can obviously do all of it, and I think does it pretty well. So those are kind of my reasons for checking out the Big Sky. Now, could you let me know what I need to check out on the device? So far I've checked out the room, the bloom, the swell, the cloud. I've checked out the choral. I do need to spend more time with that. I've checked out the non-linear, but I'm aware that within non-linear there's a bunch of different things that can do. Yeah, so there's a whole lot that I need to check out, and I need to kind of figure out how I'm going to actually end up using it. But for me, this kind of could be the only reverb pedal that I own, and that is sort of also what I'm aiming for. There's not a really good reason for me to have infinite amounts of reverb pedals and delay pedals if I can find one that can do a really good job of most things. So like the Strymon Timeline, for instance, is I think now the only delay pedal I own. Oh, except for like an old Ibanez pan delay. And then this probably will end up being one of the only reverb pedals that I own, just because it can do so much and do it so well that there's not really a good argument for me to keep many reverb pedals around. So if that's the job that this can do for me, if it clears out the shelf of other pedals, then for me I think that's probably a good buy. Probably. Let me know what I need to be checking out on the Big Sky. Let me know how you're using it. Let me know your favourite kind of features on it. I did a live stream with it and people were super helpful and telling me to check out bits and pieces. I think, what is it, there's 12 reverbs to check out in it, and there's also a lot of different parameters within each one that you can mess around with, particularly the shimmer, particularly the chorale, and particularly non-linear, and magneto even. So a lot to get into potentially. The way that I've got it connected here, I'm just going out of my HX Stomp straight into the Big Sky, and then out of the Big Sky to my digital audio workstation. I think that would be how I would run this live. If I was also using the Strymon Timeline, I'd have the Strymon Timeline before the Big Sky, potentially a small board, and I'd have the HX Stomp doing dual lamping, and I'd have the delay and the reverb taken care of by these outboard kind of units. And I think that's probably a really powerful way to be able to do a lot of stuff. Now at that point, in terms of size and cost, you'd probably be at the point where you're at the price of a full Helix anyway, so whether that's better than using a full Helix, I don't know, but certainly this kind of modular approach I think is of benefit, because I could use it with real amps, I could use it with other pedals. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Big Sky and why I bought one. Let me know in the comments if I was daft to have done so. Let me know if there were other things that I should have checked out before the Big Sky, or even still now that I've got a Big Sky. Or let me know, do you think probably this will take care of everything I need? I'm hoping it'll be that one. If this is the sort of video you're into, for whatever reason, you could leave a comment, you could like, or you could subscribe. The preset that I'm using here is ODS Clean AH, but I've taken the reverb off of it. You can get that in the description if you did like any of the sounds. But yeah, thank you for stopping by. Cheers.